What's going on, everyone? Andres Gamboa here. Welcome back to the Ponytails Podcast. That's me making that noise. If this is your first time listening, thank you for being on the show, or thank you for tuning in. Go ahead and follow us and stuff. Well, just wait to see if you like it first, and then follow us and like us and all the things. Check out our website, theponytailspodcast.com. If you're on here and you're like, what the heck is the show? What is this about? Why is it called Pony? Well, we don't have time to get into all of that, but we can tell you is that we can actually, what we do is, let's see, how do we put this? We interview people who sold books door to door for 80 hours a week on straight commission during the summers in their college years in a different part of the country without a place to live. That's about right. And so we collect stories from people who did this program for a company called Southwestern Advantage, who's been recruiting kids since 1868. Yeah, that's right, 1868, to do this program. So as you can imagine, there's some wild stories that come from that experience, and our guests come on the show and share their stories from their summers. Some people have sold for one summer, some people have sold for 12. But what is for sure is that we have a really great conversation every time, as I myself did the program too. So stick around. You guys will be hearing some fun conversations and some maybe inspiring ones, some funny ones, some scary ones. Who knows? Every episode is kind of different. So my guest today actually is with Barron Marschall. He went to school at the University of Minnesota at the Twin Cities, sold for 7 total summers from 2016 to 2023, originally from Boston, Wisconsin. If you want to get a hold of him, you can find him on all the social medias. Barron Marschall, as you see on the screen, BarronMarschall. Those are his handles on all of the things. His favorite squirrel from Ogmandino's Greatest Salesman in the World is number 6. Today, I will be the master of my emotions. And so when I come back, I'm going to be on with your boy, Barron. Hello.
Howdy.
Are you the dad of the house?
I am the dad of the house. My name is Barron.
My name Barron. Oh, we were talking about this before. Is it Aaron B? Like there's Aaron and now there's B Aaron. Barron.
Yeah, I
Aaron,
came right
you're the
before
second Aaron.
Karen.
And then right before Karen. But who was before Darren? And Aaron and well, whatever. All right. You're having beer. I'm gonna pour some tequila with my kombucha here. By the way, thanks to Hum for providing some awesome kombucha.
That's an alumni, isn't it?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Michelle Mitchell is
It's
her
wild.
name.
I just see like going through the grocery store. I'm like, oh wait, Hum is an alumni. And then I see like the Lenny and Larry cookies. I'm like, oh wait, they sold books.
Wait,
and
really?
Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure.
We gotta go
The
try
Lenny
to
and
find
Larry
them
cookies people. Yeah.
Maybe we can get free cookies.
That'd be huge. Those cookies are good too.
They are damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm gonna have to find. See, this is the cool thing about the show is just I get the privilege of getting to connect with all these different alumni who are doing some really cool different things. And I know you just got done selling, but you'll see this happen more often as you go on. But the more and more you meet new alumni and you start realizing you have this connection, you're like, whoa, shared trauma is strong. You know?
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
Speaking of which, let's dive on into this thing. Cheers to you, sir.
Hit me.
Boom, boom. And wait, let me do that so that Hum is facing the camera now that we can really earn those bucks.
You have a Hum glass and everything?
Dude, isn't this sweet?
Isn't that awesome? Super nice, yeah.
Yeah. They hooked it up. Anyway, bro, let's dive in. Wind the clocks back. How the hell did you 2016? That was my last summer actually. So we crossed some paths in some way. How did you get into this thing in the first place? You're sitting there in Minnesota. What happened?
That's exactly what happened. I was just sitting there in Minnesota, studying for a physics exam, and I just got floated by Dylan Buck. And that's basically it. I was just trying to pretend like I was doing something productive, and he must have seen that.
First of all, you were studying physics?
Yeah, I was going to school for architecture at first, and I was taking like engineering physics. It was just kicking my butt all year.
I don't know, man. Sounds like you got a big brain. Check out the big brain on Barron.
Wow. Have to pass that. But yeah, I went to the info and interviewed and all that stuff.
So Dylan Buck, for people who don't know, is a dreamy 6'2", sharper than a tack looking man.
He's like, if you
Right?
imagined a professional ceramics artist meets like a professional snowboarder, and then they can talk to you like the mixture of like a Greek god and a Latin lover. That's Dylan Book.
And
It's
then
just everything
those
you want
two
in a
people
person.
have a baby, and that baby meets Morgan Freeman
Yes.
with that baritone voice, and you're like, that's Dylan Buck. We should
Mhm.
just clip this and then send it to him and be like, hey, buddy, we love you.
Yeah. Just so you know.
And so, I mean, actually, that's probably a good thing to go into. When you have a person that's sharp like that, did you find it easy to just be like, yeah, whatever you say, man? Because like, I feel like when you meet someone
Oh
who's
yeah.
he's just so seasoned and so good at what he did, that I feel like it's probably difficult to be like, no, like, you know what I mean? Just because he's so sharp, he knows something you don't, very obviously. As you know, as you're just sitting there and you're freshman. Were you a freshman?
Yeah, I was a freshman and I hadn't really been out of the Midwest at all. So if that
Damn.
tells you much about me, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of, who's that leadership author? No, not Max.
Malcolm Gladwell.
No, he wrote like 15 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. That guy.
Oh,
Well, I want to say some author's name for some
Amy,
reason.
can you look that up? Amy will look it up. She's our
Yeah,
Jamie. Amy's our
there you
Jamie.
go. Yeah, but yeah, he wrote. I think one of his like Irrefutable Laws of Leadership is that people will follow you if you have something that they don't have. And he had a lot that I didn't have. He looked like he had life together, was wearing a suit, spoke confidently. And I was like, all right, I want to be you. How do I be you?
John Maxwell. That's
John
who it was.
Maxwell. There it is.
So, can I dig into that a little bit? I mean, do you mind if I dig into that, what you just said?
Yeah, go for it.
Because it's more than just wearing a suit. I mean, you probably had a suit. It just didn't look as sharp because it wasn't Tom James or whatever, right? But like, it's got to be more than that. If you can think back, is there something that you recognize that he had that you were like, definitely? I mean, confidence is probably good, but was there anything deeper than that you saw? I mean, I could tell you what I saw for my manager, if that would
Yeah.
help. Uh,
Well, I mean, I can give you my first impression of him. I thought he was very confident because when I first met him, he was wearing one of those like professor suits, that have like the elbow patches, and it's like a wool suit with like leather patches on the elbows.
he
And I
looked
was
like he
like,
was about to teach you architecture.
yeah. And I was like, who the heck wears that kind of suit? But he just carried it really well. And I was like, all right, well, if you can do that, that's a good start. And so that's what really caught my attention. And then even in like the interview process, I was being on time for things was not my strong suit. So if I was like 2 minutes late, he'd be like, can I count on you for being on time? And holding me to that higher standard I think that's what really did it for me.
That's crazy. Now that's deep.
Yeah.
Someone who believed in you enough to hold you to a higher standard. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
how far that can go as a leader. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty
It
cool.
was really cool.
As you sat through the info and as you were going through that, what attracted you the most to go out and sell books?
Honestly, all of it. Well, I guess to start out, I remember telling Dylan like after my B summer or something like that his info had to be like 20 minutes long because I was like, that was so fast. How'd you fit everything into like 30 minutes? And he told me it was like an hour and a half, and I was just so invested the entire time that I just didn't even know what time it was. So, yeah, that's about where I was at during my info. And there's people out there. So if you're recruiting right now, like some people are gonna sit through your info and they're gonna think it's 15, 20 minutes long just because they're so invested. But
That's
but yeah, go ahead, Andres.
maybe on the green sheet. I should say, how long do you feel like we were here?
Yeah,
5 to 10 minutes, an hour. And if they
4
say an
hours.
hour, it's like, nah, this person's not. But if they say 15, you're like,
This guy's selling books.
here we go. This guy's gonna sell 7 years.
Yep. But yeah, before when I was in high school, so I grew up in foster care. And basically
Oh.
when I went to the info, my only other option was go back to my foster parents and wait tables during the summertime. And I did not want to go back to Wisconsin. So he gave me a reason not to go back to Wisconsin. I was like, sounds good.
Yeah. Nebraska, like Wisconsin, is very lovingly escapable. Like you're like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I love it. Don't get me wrong. The rolling hills are beautiful, but it's just like, I don't want to spend every second there.
That's wild. Where did you go that first summer?
First time I was Ohio, so not much different actually.
We're
And
gonna
I
go
think
as
the town I
far
sold in,
as Ohio.
yeah. And I think the town I sold in was probably about the same like population size. So I just went from one small town to like another small town. Didn't really change too much.
That- And when you first went to, I always like to ask about the first of like sales school and stuff like that. What do you recall? Were you like, did you have a cool card? Did you have like was it like, were you super coachable? Like, what was your experience as you went through sales school the first time? Because that's always the one that just slaps you. As Bill Zizzy says, slaps you like a wet St. Bernard.
Yeah. What is it? I think it's Mark Rowlett in one of his fan sales. It's like a wet squirrel slapping you in the face on a night, or maybe that's Dan. I don't remember. But honestly, that first sales school was pretty fun. Dylan sat down with me. He gave me that like the sales school PC. I think like D2. And he's like, you know what? Like you've been working really hard. I expect you to be a leader for our group. So if we're running somewhere, you need to be there first. If we're sitting down and studying, you need to be there first. And he just held me to that standard all week. And I was like racing. That was back when we actually ran up the hill back in like Nashville. I think you
Yeah.
probably did that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They don't do that anymore. They just go to like the company.
Oh, these kids have gone soft.
Getting weak. But yeah, I was like
What's next? They're gonna do 25
racing up
demos a
the hill.
day.
Never done that. No.
What's next? They sell systems instead of books.
They sell systems. Crazy.
It's books.
It's books.
You were held to a high standard. The pressure there builds quickly when you are thrown into that competitive atmosphere of sales school. It's competitive, bro. Everyone's there to try to be number one. You know what I'm
I
saying?
loved it though. It was amazing. Like I looked forward after my first summer every year. As sales school got closer, I get like more and more excited. I love that energy, and that just like we're gonna wake up and just grind for a week. It was just it's intoxicating. It's super fun.
If I could, and not now, but at a different time in my life, if someone could be like, you need we need a manager that can just be at every sales school for 6 weeks, and we'll pay you for that. While I was in college, I would have done that just to help train kids at the beginning, because that to me was super rewarding to just pay. I had a great sales school too, and so to pay it forward that way would have been very awesome for me. But
I had a friend that field managed, and that sounds so fun. Like after you're done selling books, you just come out for sales school 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna go home now. You just sell like 1,000 units and just did.
see ya.
Yeah.
Which nowadays 1,000 units is like, it's not bad at all. I mean, you still
You still make like
get to kick some ass.
yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
$8,
that's
I
like
think.
grand.
Yeah,
And you work
that's not
for like
bad.
3, 4 weeks, and you just go home and chill. We had someone
That's not a
doing
bad
that, and
summer.
I think our OL actually paid their expenses too. So they literally just came out, followed people, worked for a little bit more.
That's pretty sick, dude.
Yeah.
Now you get to Ohio. Did you already have host families and all that stuff set up? Where you live in? Was it Dylan? I'm guessing you were probably living with, or
Yeah, I lived with
and
Dylan.
it wasn't set up.
I think he told us that we had stuff set up, but I think we always told people that there's stuff set up, and it never actually is. Because we definitely knocked the first day we were there. So
we have it set up
we just knocked
in the future,
and we will have it set up.
Yeah, it's another way of saying we will have it set up, but we have it set up.
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah, and I was a walker, so he just kind of dropped me off in my town. I was like, all right, go ask people if you can live with them. It's a good way to get the jitters out. And I was like, it is a good way to get jitters out. You're not wrong.
This is great for your PR. Go ask people for a place to live. Tell them you're homeless.
Oh, my PR was trash. I knew my cops by name my first summer. That's how bad my PR was. I was just like, what's up, Tom?
Hey, you didn't, not even Officer James.
No.
It's like, what's up, Tom?
Yeah. They'd be like, Barron, you got your permit? I just hold it up from the porch and they just drive right by. It was nice.
That's actually not bad. That's actually
It was pretty
like
solid, yeah.
when bad PR turns good because the cops are
Yeah.
just so over just trying to address these phone calls that they drive by. That'd be cool PR if you're sitting in front with the mom like at the porch and then they drive by and they're like, "You have your permit?" You're like, "Yep," and then they drive away. That's as good as it can get.
You're just like, you know what moms like about how I do business at the house? Just go right into the clips.
Is the cops know me?
Yeah.
Oh man, I always thought that like for that kind of stuff, people. I don't know if Europeans do this. We were having this conversation, and you sold enough summers that you'd probably have good insight on this. But I always thought that people should go. The OL should get to the turf like 2 weeks before you're supposed to be out there. Like they should go to there and then go to sales school, and like check in with like the home city hall, go to like the city counseling meetings, meet up with the superintendent of all the local schools, maybe all the principals if they have the chance, the chief of police, and just be like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm Dylan Buck. I'm a recruiter at University of Minnesota. We're gonna have about 30 kids, and one of them is gonna be in this town. Don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but we just know that this is what's going to happen. And here's the books that go to the newspaper, maybe start getting it set up, right? Like that can't help. Like can't hurt more than it helps, right? Like I feel like that would help
That'd
more
be
than it would
killer.
hurt.
That'd be amazing.
Why don't they
We'd
do
have
that?
to have turfs. I mean, we don't have turfs usually set up until sales school, and we don't usually know what state we're going into in time to do that. But if we got like all of our information beforehand, a little bit faster, we could definitely make that thing. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because you could, because then you like, and I can hear just the current OLs go, you can't because blah blah blah. It's like, well, the alternative is that every year there's one rumor somewhere in the country that someone's stealing kids. It does not
Oh yeah.
fail.
Oh,
I feel like that's been the rumor
I've been
since
accused of stealing
2014.
kids with great PR. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
just always the
exactly.
rumor.
Whereas if you know it ahead of time and then you show up, like, what I'm saying? Like, there was an article.
Yeah,
Like, imagine showing up on the first week and be like, "Hey, are you Mrs.
with
Jones? Yeah, I'm the
amazing
book
PR.
kid. You might have seen me on the newspaper or the school newsletter. We talked to yeah, awesome. And then it's like you pull up the newsletter that the principals or the superintendent sent out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm just thinking too much,
that'd
but
be huge. And OLs are like adept enough that they can talk to principals and chiefs of police. Like when you take a
yeah,
first year to talk to the chief of police, he's just like shaking his boots off.
yeah. Yeah.
So
And that's
yeah,
not part of the experience that's going to help you grow. Talking to a chief of police isn't going to be the make it or break it part of your summer. But
no,
as you said, we just described Dylan Buck as this dreamy Egyptian god or whatever Greek god with the voice
yeah,
of Morgan Freeman and the illegitimate child of whatever, right? That guy
yeah,
shows up to talk to, the mayor confidently. And it's like, dude, you can't lose.
yeah.
I mean, also you get really quick. Another thing that does is you get really, because as I was selling, some towns are like, you can't sell here. And you got your little spiel about the intercommerce laws, but you really weren't going to push that. You know what I mean? You're just going to be
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, I just won't sell here because it's not worth the trouble.
I whipped that
So
out a
you could
couple times,
easily,
but I almost got arrested.
yeah, exactly. It's like,
Yeah,
they're like, oh, you want to fight about this? Okay.
I know what laws pertain to me.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because every book kid knows what we mean by that intercommerce laws
Yeah,
stuff, but interstate commerce laws, but that's what I mean. Like you show up, you're like, all right, this town's gonna be a piece of Also, another thing, when you go have kids check into the territory where you're like, hey, go find out how much your permit is, and some of them it's like I have to wait 2 weeks for them to like do the thing because Marcia from City Hall's out of town or whatever, or that's
yeah.
just how long it takes. You can have all that stuff like done and known,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that was
Or
part of this last year. That was part of my job. I like called up every area that we were working in, right? Like a little bit before sales school and during sales school, and I found out all the requirements for
yeah.
all the permits that we needed, and it was super nice just knowing that I could apply during sales school and have it ready by like Tuesday that we got out there.
Yeah. And then with
Mm-hmm.
that too, I mean, hell, you could even do a Zoom call with the superintendent. You don't even have to be there at this point. You could just be like, hey, but I mean, obviously in person is much better. I think you should always just go in person, but like at the very least, just be like, hey, can I Zoom? Can I request an audience with with the superintendent. This is the group of kids that are, are coming out. You tell them about the program. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can really prevent.
And nowadays, like with selling, I've heard stories of back in like the 70s or something when people like wouldn't have permits, they just go sell and just do whatever they wanted, but there was just no information back then. And now if you have now the way it works, if you have good PR, it expands exponentially, and if you have bad PR, it expands exponentially, like that, like super fast. So if you don't get ahead of it, you're just kind of SOL. You can't really figure it out,
Yeah. Well, and with
especially
social
for
media
first
and
years.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you have HOA Facebook groups. You have like
Next door neighbor apps, Reddit,
you
like
have.
everything.
It's so crazy, and it's bad. It's like so bad how quickly it gets bad.
Yeah. Yeah, watch it. That's what they did implement something new this last year where we have like a whole PR checklist, which is really nice. I didn't do any of it, but I think it'd probably be helpful for like the upcoming first years to figure stuff out,
Yeah. And I saw a lot of people were also doing like Justin Wiebelhouse's like marketing kit. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah.
Super helpful.
Super helpful. Personalized
Like
stickers,
if you,
magnets.
yeah, if you're selling books this summer, you're not doing that. Shame.
What are you doing? Yeah, seriously.
What are you doing?
I think
Especially
it
if you're
just makes
coming
it
back
more
as a
fun
B.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just makes it more fun. Like I worked with Martin this last year. He had Southwestern stickers all over his car. Like he still has them, I'm pretty sure, all over his car, and just like decals. And your car's known as the Bookmobile, and not just like that 1999 Chevy Cruze that's been cruising around the town.
Yeah. With the Minnesota plates or Utah or whatever you're from. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
This is fair. One thing, let's just try going without headphones to see, because I think you're still popping a little bit in my ear, but I don't know if it's just me. Yeah. Ooh. Disconnect from that and then we get. I think we'll be all right. Oh, you sound better than Dylan Buck, dude. There you go.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, that's good. And I can't hear an echo, so we're Gucci. Yeah, dude. So that's sorry, that's a total tangent we went on there. So first summer for you, you're out in Ohio. Was it like the kind of summer where there's different kinds of summers, right? Struggled, ends up well, and started off well, then struggled, pretty steady the whole time. What was that experience?
Well, definitely the second bit. Whereas like I started off well, hit Breakfast of Champions, and then I kind of figured out that I was doing okay compared to everyone else, and I think it just went to my head, and I just shit the bed the rest of the summer. It was not good.
Yes. Perfect.
Not ideal for sure.
Growth for sure to be had, but that's okay. It's a growth business, brother. Did you know you want to come back right away, or was it something where it's like, I don't know, you have to think about it, or what overall, looking back, how did you know you wanted to come back for 6 more, or maybe at least 1?
I don't think anyone knows that they're going to come back for 6 more. Come on
now. Oh, I don't know, dude. Some people are snorting the Kool-Aid hard.
Yeah,
some people
jump right into it. They're like, all right, I'm doing this forever.
Yeah, they get back. They're at checkout going, how do I become a DSM tomorrow?
Yeah. I never once had that happen to me. But no, I got,
which is why you're here.
Yeah, seriously. The thing that happened though is I got selected back right after like my best week ever, as you do, and so I was like, yeah, sign me up. And then throughout the school year, after that, I didn't do much recruiting or anything, but my only other option was go back to Wisconsin, or not even that. I didn't really have another option because my bedroom was filled with another foster kid. So it was either sell books or find a place to live in Minneapolis for the summertime.
Whoa, that's a trip. That's unique. We're almost 200 episodes here, and I don't know that I've known that was a choice someone had to make when they went back.
Yeah, to like be homeless or sell books.
Yeah, I don't think that's been a choice of people. I mean, I'm sure other people have had that choice, but I don't know that I've met someone so far that was the choice of like second summer or tent. Like
Yeah, so it was
Yeah.
pretty easy. I mean, I didn't do much on the off season at all. Definitely didn't go super well, but I mean, the
Wow.
hard things lead to the good things, you know?
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I know I am. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the people that make this show possible, the people that bring this show to you. These are people who all sold books, and we're here to give a quick shout out to them in a spotlight about their company and what they're up to. So if you're interested, or if after listening to this, you're kind of wanting to know a little bit more, feel free to click on the links below to connect with these people. These are from an excerpt I have with them from a podcast that I do on the side. It's called Executive Exercises, where we take all our sponsors and they come into a think tank and share some awesome ideas about how to grow their business specifically on different topics. Go check that out. But I pulled some of the comments that they had explaining what they do and who they're looking for on their companies. And so if that sounds like you, like I said, click below. Hope you enjoy. So yeah. And so money wise, and it just seemed like it was going to be the leads, which I wanted to go back to that because you mentioned this, and that's another thing that maybe Southwestern people don't understand is leads. That's kind of like you're saying, basically, imagine you show up to a town to sell books, you send a postcard out to every single family that has kids in school or young children, asking them if they struggle with any of the following subjects, yes or no. Would you be interested in hearing about a product that might help you with all those subjects, yes or no, name and address, and then you just waited at your HQ for like a couple of weeks, and then you got in the mail like 700 people returning that postcard saying, "Come to my house. Here's where I live." Hi, are you the mom of the house? Yes, and we've heard of you. Great.
Yeah. Is this your handwriting,
let's
Miss Betty? Yeah, that's my handwriting.
yeah.
You got a few minutes? It's again, you're not selling every single lead that you sit down with, but the leads is kind of what interested me because that kind of anxiety feeling that I talked about at Southwestern and the anxiety I had with Family Heritage, I honestly didn't think that was going to go away, but it has. It's gone away when I sold. You know, I still had a little bit of anxiety, but after that first knock, it goes away. But much less anxiety every week because I know I have fresh leads coming in. And so even if this day doesn't work out, I know I got typically our agents will get anywhere from 25 to 50 leads a week of people that they can go and call on.
I want people to understand what it is that you do, how you do it, why you do it, all of the good stuff. You hear a lot about coaching. You hear a lot about life coach, sales coach, business coach, yada, yada coach.
Man, I think just to start off, like what it isn't, it's not training. It's not showing up and having somebody talk at you for 45 minutes to an hour. And like the way that I look at it is we're all human beings. We're all broken in some capacity. And we all know a lot of the people that I work with, they know what they're supposed to be doing. They're just not executing on it, or they're not doing it as intentionally as they should be. Or they're just not focused. They have like 15 different goals or 15 different things that they're trying to balance or do. And because of that, like they're not as intentional as they should be at home, or they're not as intentional as they should be at work, and they're not picking up the phone and calling people. And it's like having a personal trainer for your business. It's having intention on why we do what we do every day and creating clarity and helping to build our lives and our calendars around what our future goals and intentions are.
That'll do for now. Like I said, make sure you click below to get some more information. And now back to the show. So how, this might be a personal question, so we can make this a story for Bizzler if you want, but, give to get. So I didn't have the easiest childhood. We can just say that my family is going to be murdered. It's a whole story. Find it on Amazon. Anyway,
Is that your book?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I'll look into it.
So crazy. I'll send you a copy. I gotta
Okay.
order some, but if
Sounds
anything,
solid.
I don't have any author copies, so I'll have to order some. So it might be a few weeks before I get you one, but yeah. Or anyway, that's not the point of this. My point is, the hardest thing I'd done after I sold, a lot of people go, after my first summer, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, is what they say, which is valid. I'm not trying to diminish someone's experience that did this program, and it's very hard.
Yeah.
I'll say it was the hardest thing I had to do that I chose for myself. I'll say that, right, circumstantially, but it wasn't the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. I don't know what it's like to be in the foster system and have, foster parents. I have no idea what that experience is like at all. But would you say that I don't know how difficult it was for you or not. If you want to share about that, that's your call. But was up to that point, was that first summer the hardest thing you'd ever done, or how does it compare to like just
kinda
that
put in the
lifestyle? 'Cause I
same
have no
boat.
idea what that's like, man.
Yeah, I mean, the foster system's not bad by any means. Like, there's a lot of good things that come out of it, and I learned a lot through the process. But like, I had my dad pass away when I was really young, and my mom's like struggled with mental illness most of my life. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was definitely. I'd say it the same way. Like, it's definitely the hardest thing I ever had to do that I chose for myself. You know?
Hmm.
And
I'm sorry to
definitely
hear
put
that,
my
though.
grit to the test. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can imagine. But there was something about it that you wanted to escape. It sounds like because you didn't want to go back to Wisconsin. Like the idea of going back to Wisconsin to go back towards that part of your life, was it? It just seemed like that was something you really definitely wanted to avoid. Is that, am I reading that right, or is that?
No, I've never really thought about it. I guess, but yeah, that's pretty accurate. It was like once I turned 18, I was my own person, and I wasn't gonna backslide to put into like How I Met Your Mother terms. I was gonna just like keep progressing, keep getting better, and move on and make my own life out of it. And so yeah, and this felt like a really cool opportunity to do it. Plus, I had salespeople that were talking to me to like give me
Yeah.
income. That definitely helps too.
Oh, you are not alone on that part. That one I can totally relate to.
Yeah.
But okay, that's just, so there you were kind of at a crossroads. It's a really interesting way of being, and when you're at that point in life where you're like, there's no fucking way I'm going back, right? There's no way. But also going forward is going to be tough, and I know that. So you recognize in yourself that the only way that you move over the next obstacle is to grow and then be able to just overcome it simply, right? Like to just, because you're not going to go back, no way, right?
Yeah.
And that's very commendable, my man. That's inspiring. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't mean any offense to people that. One thing that I definitely didn't want to do was be the kind of person that left high school and then stayed in the same hometown that I graduated high school in. No offense to like anyone that does that by any means, because I love my hometown, but I just did not see that in my future.
Yeah, I know what you mean by no offense, but there is something to be said about the fact that like seeing, understanding, and experiencing the world will make you a person that's different than someone who didn't do that. I'm not going to say better because that's not the right word there, but like the idea of exploring and living life and experiencing what the world has to offer, that isn't bad. There's a lot of really good things that you can go experience out there.
Yeah, I mean, believe like scientific history of the human race. Most of our human race, we were nomadic. So the fact that we don't move around too much is kind of crazy to me.
Fair, dude. I've never noticed that. Dude, my mind's been blown because I've been nomadic for the last 10 years. This is the longest I've lived anywhere in the last decade. Like where I live now.
I moved from the time I was like in elementary school. I moved at least every like 3-4 years. And so moving near the suburb, living somewhere else, and then moving again every single like college year, and then going somewhere else during the summer, that was just, it just makes sense. Like if I'm gonna live somewhere for more than 3 years, it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting. I'm with you. My family, before we moved to the United States, we were moving around in Colombia even a few times to just be safe or try to be, because I don't know if you see Narcos, but the 90s in Colombia were crazy. It's crazy enough that Netflix made a show about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing that I can think of that's that crazy that Netflix made a show about it was like Tiger King. Like, and it was crazier than that shit. But but yeah, I understand moving around. So staying static is especially after selling books for so long. That's a hard thing to. Yeah, that's true. You know, too, what that is like in Southwestern, and my wife didn't sell books, so I've noticed this difference between me and her, that I think this is something that was conditioned into me from even before books, but it was really sharpened in me, is the ability to transition quickly between scenarios. And I'm not saying that that's a good, in a way that's a good thing, and in a way that's, she's taught me a lot to kind of still slow down and chill, like be like, whoa. There, we don't have to get to the next door. You can just kind of chill for a second. So it's like a weird balance. You know what I'm saying? Because like I just want to get to the next thing, and she's like, "Hey, shh, chill out, relax. We got to think about this." Have you ran into that at all with people who are more chill, more like slow slow to act?
That's definitely a thing. I mean, just adaptability. Like if you wanted to learn adaptability anyway, it's just transplant yourself on purpose. Because like when you're selling during the summer, if you sell in Mississippi, within 3-4 weeks, you've got a Southern accent and you are like eating the local food. And I feel like I'm like Takashi Kovacs and Altered Carbon just popping up, catching languages and stuff,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a thing that. And we're also the type of people that if there's like something happening in California and we're all in Delaware, we'll just buy a plane ticket and go to California for a weekend and then come back. And it's not like a big deal. And not a lot of people are like,
no, this is true. My this has happened twice to me in the last 6 years, but I'm gonna point this out to you because you're gonna laugh about how funny this. Well, I mean, it's not that funny, but it's just you might relate to this. So this happened twice. So 6 years ago and today. So I just had a phone call with a buddy of mine today. I'm not gonna mention his name, but I'm supposed to meet up with him today on Thursdays. I normally have a conversation with him, and he goes, "Hey, I can't meet up today. I had some car troubles, and it's been a tough day."
oh, that's cute.
And I forgot, like, it's actually a pretty big car problem, but like to his credit, and I shouldn't like throw him under the bus like this. I don't mean to sound like this. He was like pretty good. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna control what I can control. I'll put it this way. He was the kind of person that you ever had a friend that you try to really to sell books, and then
Yeah,
they
their books
didn't.
fit in their mouth, but they just didn't sell.
Yes, he's that guy. So I didn't say anything. So he's like, I'm having a tough day, and he told me about the cars, and I was gonna say, dude. But then on his own, he was like, but you know what, man? I'm gonna control what I can control. I'm not gonna let it get me down. And honestly, like, it is what it is. Luckily, I just have at least I have the money for a hotel to stay here tonight because the part won't be until tomorrow. At least I didn't get to like a car. He like started going like into the 3 positives without me saying anything, and I'm like, yeah, dude. But when he first told me about the car problem, I was like, dude. And so after he got done with his spiel about like the 3 positives, I've never told him any of this stuff. He just kind of came at this on his own. He only said I think the 2 positives, but it's fine. And then I go, dude, you know what? Like, I'm glad that I know you and that we're friends this way because you just totally bookman that. Like, I told him this. I was like, to me, when I was selling books, this is like a Tuesday. Like, it's just, and then you went and sold 100 units. It's a total book move. That's right. Like it's not a big deal, And he like handled that. But in my head, I'm like, I'm so thankful that I had this experience where car problems was like, all right, well, fuck it. Like,
yeah. Just can go to the next door, figure it
what's
out.
on TV, or like Nick just moving on to the next. Like, so that's I'm glad for that perspective. Like you said, just that learning that adaptability and just being able to just roll with punches it's so valuable. Hell yeah.
Yeah, and the hard thing about that is you don't really learn that unless you get punched a lot.
Yeah.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, and if Dylan had been there, I would not have chosen to be punched as often as I had been. So
Yeah, it's something weird for people to sell more than one summer, regardless of how the first one went. I mean, I guess there's exceptions where like someone had a great first summer, not a single car problem. Their HQ had a jacuzzi, right? They sold more and they never had bad PR. Like that's a unicorn kind of summer, and people have those. But like most people don't have that, and so the idea of like I'm gonna go back and do it again. Like I think it's crazier to go back a second summer or as crazy for a different reason than to when the first one.
Yeah, same craziness, just different aspects. You're like scared of no now, and you're just shaking your boots the entire time instead of just like 3 p.m. on a Saturday when you're sitting in like a porta potty trying not to knock on the door.
Is that a personal experience or is that like a?
Oh yeah, I've definitely. I don't know if it was 3 p.m. on a Saturday, but yeah, I've definitely done that.
I didn't sit in a porta potty. I just sat in my car, but that's a whole.
I was a walker.
Oh, dude, that was your car. You couldn't have rolled down the window on that though. And the smell was probably not. It was probably a different kind of bad. We'll just say that.
That's right.
Did you have moments that first summer where you thought, nah, I'm going home? Did you ever think about like, or I guess all 7 summers where you were like, usually it's the first one, but like, did you have any moments where you're like, no, I can't do this anymore?
I definitely had moments where I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I'm kind of grateful I walked my first summer, because when I was like, I can't do this anymore, my first thought was, well, how the heck am I going to get home? I can't walk to Wisconsin. And then I'd just be like, all right, fuck it, I guess I'm going to the next door.
Ooh,
Yeah.
bred in
So,
captivity.
yep, that kind of got me going. But I don't think even if I had thought about like taking a bus or doing that, because that didn't even come to my mind. But even if I had, I don't think I probably would have quit, just because like, I shook Dylan's hand and Dylan's word was law. So
Yeah, I asked that, but I don't ask that from experience because that's something I didn't ever really have. I mean, I think everyone has a moment where they
they all the
think
dirt pile
about going
moment.
home. Like you think about it, and by think about it, this is gonna sound kind of insensitive. I don't mean to be insensitive, but like people talk about like there's like thinking about taking your life, and then there's like thinking about taking your life. It's a different thing, right? Where it's like on the one side, it's like you're really gonna do it. On the other side is you just walk yourself and you put yourself in that situation and you think like, I can't. I'm not saying that these are the same severity.
Everyone
Don't
thought
just
about
to
taking their
not
life.
to not be, but
Yeah.
like I think it's not a weird thought to have like, okay, how would this even work? Like just a really and then that's how you conclude that, yep, that's not. To me, that's how I conclude that I'm not in that mental state, right? Because in my head, I'm like, I can't. And then I think about like my wife and all this stuff. And I'm like, the same thing that my first summer where I thought about what would I do if I went home? And my dad called me after it's a weird story, but and a lot of people that listen to this show regularly would know this, but I got recruited Wednesday of finals week. And when I called my dad and
Weird.
told him I was, what's that?
I wasn't that late, but I was a pretty late recruit also.
Oh, so you get that. So yes, you understand. So when I called my dad about this and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go I'm gonna go sell books door to door in New York. And he goes, did you commit already? And I go, what do you mean? He was like, did you sign like paper or some like contract that said so you're gonna be there all summer? And I go, yeah, there's like a thing I signed. He goes,
Did
and
you
you
shake a
said for
hand?
sure you're gonna go. And he goes, and you told him you're gonna go. And I go, yeah. He goes, yep. He goes, okay, well, if you come back before August, just don't come back to here because I didn't raise a quitter.
That's the
And so
dad
like
you
those,
want.
that's a dad right there. That's a papa, you know. And in my head, and in my head, I'm like that. So when I was thinking about quitting, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, like just showing up back on that front porch, like I can't. And then I was like, maybe I'm just needing to go to the next house. And then I just went to the next house. But like I did have the thoughts. But I guess also, I guess what I was more asking is, did you ever have a point where that you can recall that was, and this could be a no, like some people have these moments, some people don't, but did you have a moment where it was like a pivotal thing for you where you like said, this is where I choose to make my life different than everyone else. And because of this, I'm becoming the person that I want to be. Did you ever have anything like that throughout your career?
No, you see, like I wasn't that philosophical when I was 18, so that didn't happen.
What?
Um,
How not, dude?
Yeah, right. I mean, we all hear the dirt pile story from like during sales school where they're talking about the dirt pile and all that stuff. And he's like,
Lee
"This is the
McCroskey.
moment." Yeah, that's right. And he's like, "This is the moment when I decided to have a great summer." For me, it was just like I had a moment.
Sales school.
All right, let's go.
You know, this is a compliment. If you know who this is, you probably know who this is. You definitely know who this is. But this is a compliment. But you remind me a lot of Seth Hood.
I'm Seth. I am Seth.
I'm jacked like Seth.
Yeah.
I mean, we all wish we were jacked like Seth.
Seth like half lived in our house. I was in Utah last year with like the Utah people, and Seth was in his van technically, but also like worked out of our living room. And so I was around him all last year, and I kind of miss him. He's a
dude,
cool
I
guy.
miss Seth too. I lived with Seth. He was my roommate in Nebraska for a while, and it's just his energy. You know,
it's huge. Seth energy is just hood energy in general is different than all other energies.
Yeah, Well,
Yeah.
where I'm from, Hood Energy is different, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Hood Energies, get down. There's people shooting.
Different kind of hood.
That's
But
South
same.
Bogota, baby. That's hood.
How long were you in Colombia? Because you came when you were in like high school or middle school.
No, I was 7. I
Oh, okay.
I was about to turn 8. And
How much older is Danny than you?
Danny's almost 3 exact years. Our birthdays
Okay.
are 10 days apart. My parents love all my brothers. I have 2 brothers, Julian and Danny. Julian is 10 days after me, or something like that, 9 or 10 days after me. And Danny's. My parents loved Christmas, bro. It's in September. My parents, like, when it came to Christmas, it was pony time, if you know what I'm saying. Bow,
Yeah.
bow, bow, bow. Anyway, but yeah, Danny was 5. We moved to Nebraska, and Juli wasn't born yet. But yeah, I mean, right now I have family staying with me, and one of the kiddos is 7, or going to be 7 in August, and I'm like, oh, that's a special age for me because it's that's when I remember a lot of stuff. A lot of people remember being 7, so yeah.
Yeah.
We moved.
And you were going through a hell of a transition too.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah.
Speaking English was a transition. Having no family within 3,000 miles was a transition.
Yeah.
Couple of others, but mainly those 2. As you can imagine, dude. Yeah. Thanks for asking. I don't get to talk about this much, as you can imagine. But
Rachel works with, I guess you guys talked about it, but Rachel works with like mostly Hispanic kids at her school. And I just can't imagine coming to a different country and just like figuring it out, That's wild.
it's such a weird perspective, if you don't mind me sharing. It's such a weird perspective, because like there's a couple of things. Like, I just got back from Colombia. I was in Colombia for 3 weeks, and if you were to ask my wife, I'm as Colombian. I dance salsa, motherfucker. Like, I am so Colombian.
Yeah.
But I got down there, and still my family still
Like,
talks to me like, you're not Colombian. Like, you're not from here. You're American, But then you'll talk to some Confederate flag tattooed person from wherever, and they're like, you're not American. And I'm like, okay, I guess not. Like, so that's a weird dynamic. But then also, like, when you, I don't know, and this is not, I don't mean this in like a political way, but I live in Portland. There's a lot of homelessness or unhoused. I should be careful. It's 2023. A lot of unhoused. Not even that. People experiencing being unhoused. That's how they say it here in Portland.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
Yeah, this is the woke way of saying it, the 2023 way of saying it. I'm like 2019 woke, but I'm trying to keep up because I live in Portland, where if you say grandfather, that's now a buzzword. But anyway, so there's people here experiencing being unhoused, and like, as white American people, I'm like, I mean, I get addiction as a problem. I get that there's people who have struggles, and I'm not anybody to judge. But then I look like at my dad, and we had $200 to our name. We had no language, no cultural awareness, no structure, nothing. Like, we had no experience of what it was like to be here, and my parents made it. And yeah, sure, they had a bachelor's degree and stuff, but still, man, like, we had no legal way of working. We were asylum seekers, and the fact that they were able to make it, first of all, it's luck in a lot of ways that we made it, and unluck for the people who are in house. But in my head, I always think to myself, like, what my parents taught me is that despite what I see in this country, I can still do what I want with enough effort and with enough care to be able to make it. And that's what I know. So the kids that Rachel works with, that's what I hope they're learning for themselves, because that's what we did, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Then no matter what you tell, you make it.
Yeah, total soapbox there. But in my head, I'm like thinking, like, when I see that, I'm like, oh gosh, like, if people only could see how I see it, But then I guess everybody thinks that. So who the fuck am I to say anything? I don't know. It is. I'm just the host of this damn show. That's
Yeah,
all.
and look
This
at
is
you
the
now. I
most.
mean, you're living the American dream. You're making a living off of podcasting. That's like literally what every
Isn't
American
that crazy, bro? I think about that. I'm like, how are we here?
TikTok famous, and you'll be set. Like, you're done.
Yeah, I need to talk to Sarah Maddock. How do I become TikTok famous? Say something or do
Sarah
something
Maddock.
really cool.
You just need to make fun songs, and you'll be set.
See, I don't have that skill. My skill is to just be like, and how does that make you feel? I should have been a psychologist. It's really what this is. It's just getting people to share trauma. Like earlier, we're like, I didn't think about that, about going home. There you go. See, look at that. Now go.
Is there
now
a
go.
Ponytails TikTok page? Anything like that?
What's that?
Is there a Ponytails like TikTok?
Yeah,
account?
it exists. We haven't uploaded as many videos to it just because it hasn't been like our focus. We've mainly been sticking to reels on Instagram and committing to that. But you're the second person today to bring that up where it's like you should do both.
I mean, if you're making reels, they're the same thing, aren't they? Like basically, you just.
Barron, you're making too much sense. Stop.
I don't know how it works. I don't post anything online. I haven't gone like a year and a half. So.
You're making too much sense. You're making me feel uncomfortable with all the sense you're making. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, sorry. Back to you. Let's talk about you again. All right, man. That was a cool little tangent on immigration and a bunch of shit. Yeah, this is what the podcast is about. I'm just talking to another book, man. You went back for multiple summers. How did your career progress? Like, tell me when you think back right now. So this is a unique place to be in as an alumni, and welcome, by the way, to alumni hood, I guess, or alumnus ish. It's my second language. Amy, alumnusship. Amy, can you figure out what that is? Amy's good with words and shit. Clearly I'm not, but when you're in a unique spot because you haven't even experienced a summer without Southwestern yet since you started, which trust me, buddy, you're in for a ride when it's like July Tuesday afternoon and you're like, I should be fucking knocking, like you start shaking, like never go back to the HQ. Like, when you go back home for lunch after work, you're like, what am I doing? This is wrong. Like, it's kind of like withdrawal. But so this is really fun place to be though, because you are so fresh off that you can look back and think. So on that note, when you think back as a whole, and we can dig into some of these things, when you think back in your summer career, 7 summers, what are some of that? Walk me through some of the, and it don't have to be in order, but what are some of the highlights as you think back that you go, whoa, that was cool when this happened, or when I met this family, or when this, when I hit this record or whatever. Looking back, what are you most proud of? What are some of your highlights and some of your lowlights? And go in any order that you want, or as much detail as you want.
I feel like I'm in a full career PC right now.
Sure.
That's what I say.
Except this is very public. It's a personal conference. It's a public conference.
Well, I guess just to give you kind of like the rundown, so you know, like numbers wise, how my summers went.
Sure.
I went. So my first summer I hit 1,000 units exactly. Second summer was like 50 units more than that.
You had a more summer?
I had a more summer. Yep.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. That's just, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Third summer was like 2,000. Fourth summer was like 26, 28. Fifth was like 48. And then sixth was 6,400. And then my fifth summer was like 5,000, somewhere around there. So that's kind of like, that gives you a graph in your brain.
So you were like you had the ideal career of growth, where it was just like every summer you kind of like kept getting better and better.
Yeah, mine was like a plateau growth though. It was like,
Yeah, but and before we go on to like some of the highlights, just pointing this. No, it's great. You don't accidentally sell 5,000 units. Like if you sold 5,000 units, you figured something out, and you probably have what it takes to sell way more. It's just there was a couple of tweaks you needed to make. That's an argument I've always made. You can accidentally sell, Bizzler or Sizzler, right? You can accidentally be like, oh, well, I dropped 1,800 units, stumbled my way in. You have to do something or a lot of things out of all the things right to get to that level where you were at. So congrats. That's pretty awesome. But anyway, sorry, go on.
And so that's kind of how my like units went throughout the years. And then can you remind me, what was the question again?
Oh no, just like as you look back, because you're now decided you're not coming back, and you know we talked a little bit about what you're up to now, but when you're looking back and you reflect, like, you know, if you had a journal to write this down, or and look back, or if you had to tell your kids about what this experience was like sometime in the future, like what were some of the things where you're like, this is something I was proud of when this family bought, or when this happened to me, when I hit PC for the first time, or so it could be something, or when I met Rachel, like, right, that's a big deal, right? So for like, as you look back at the 7 years, what are you most proud of? What are some things that maybe you could have done better?
That's a loaded question. I mean, there's definitely a lot I could do better. I mean, you can't do this better. But I actually, if you're on the book field and you're not keeping a journal, like this is my Sunday meeting journal, where like every Sunday during my like hour to myself, I just journal in this. And most of that journal is me just like puking about the week before. Just like, this was shitty, this was shitty, this was shitty. It's gonna be better because of this, and this. Let's make it happen.
Whoa. Okay. So hold on. This is actually a term that Amy does not have on our repertoire, but how do we not have this? Puking. Explain puking for people who may be listening who are like, what the heck is he talking about? Maybe your mom's watching, or like your cousins or something, or your whatever human beings that are part of, I keep saying this, but I don't know if you keep in touch with those people in your life, but explain puking.
Puking, I mean, if you imagine, like, everyone knows someone in their life that's raised complaining to the level of an art form, to quote whoever I'm quoting, you know who I'm quoting. That person is just constantly puking on you. Like, they're giving all their problems and making them your problem by like throwing them up on you. And so basically, if you're complaining and not offering solutions, you're puking.
You're puking. And what's the rule? We never puke.
We never puke down. We always puke up. And so
never across. Always puke
never
up.
across. Yep. Puke to your parents, puke to your grandparents because they can handle it. Don't puke to your kids.
Yes. And or in the case of Southwestern, you don't puke to first years or people who haven't sold as many summers as you, or the same number of summers as you. Puke up to your managers, your DSLs, yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then our DSLs will puke to the president. The president will puke to the CEO of the company, and it just keeps going up. And then they'll puke
and the
to
CEO
God.
is just holding it all in.
Yep.
Poor Henry.
He's dealing with a lot right now.
But also, he's making the most money, so it is what it is.
You get paid to hold puke. I mean, that's how it works in life.
That's exact. Wow, that's if you're taking notes, write that down. That's good.
That's good. That's good.
Ooh, that's good. Write that down. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I know I am. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the people that make this show possible, the people that bring this show to you. These are people who all sold books, and we're here to give a quick shout out to them in the spotlight about their company and what they're up to. So if you're interested, or if after listening to this, you're kind of wanting to know a little bit more, feel free to click on the links below to connect with these people. These are from an excerpt I have with them from a podcast that I do on the side. It's called Executive Exercises, where we take all our sponsors and they come into a think tank and share some awesome ideas about how to grow their business, specifically on different topics. Go check that out. But I pulled some of the comments that they had explaining what they do and who they're looking for on their companies. And so if that sounds like you, like I said, click below. Hope you enjoy. That's okay. And actually, and this is good to, I had Nick kind of explain this a little bit too, but it's because I've been in the insurance industry before. For people who are listening, like, how do you make 115% commission?
The way I explain it to people is the insurance companies we represent. So we're a broker. All these companies we work with, they know they're not really going to be making any money off the sales that I make for the first several years. But they don't care about that. They know these clients are going to be on the books for 10, 15, 20, 25 years. So they know they're going to make money over the long haul. And so part of the reason agents are able to make so much is there's all these companies out here, and they're all competing for the broker's business, because these companies don't actually have their own in-house sales force. They have independent contractors. And so if their compensation or their commission levels that they offer aren't competitive, I'm not going to place any business with them.
Hello, off schedule moment. Wanted to tell you about Southwestern Real Estate. They're 99% drama free, only 99, not 99.9. So it's a bit spicy, kind of like this episode. Anyway, They will learn you to kick ass at real estate. So make sure you guys click the link below. Get in touch with them. Okay, back to work. Bye. That'll do for now. Like I said, make sure you click below to get some more information. And now back to the show. So, okay, so you had a puke journal, dude. Do we have some stories from the puke journal?
Oh man, I should have bookmarked some of these.
We're about to go into Barron Marschall's puke journal, everyone.
Let me see. This I wrote.
Bro, I'm having a blast. I'm sorry if I'm like over here more excited. Or I don't know. I feel like you're having a blast too, but I don't want to assume for you.
I have all my weekly stats in it too. So like week 1 of my 5th summer, 70 hours, 234 calls, 145 demos, 54 sit downs, 11 solid 3 week, 276 units, 6 logons.
Wow.
Focus, habits, checklist. I'm good at focus. All my self-talk. I'm good at this. I know what I'm doing. I'm capable and worthy.
Whoa, dude, this is unique. We haven't had someone like share this kind of stuff on here yet.
It's pretty fun. Week 4 of that summer. Let me see.
Let's see how your summer went. Number 5. Where were you at number 5?
So this is week 4. Weekly stats, 81 hours. So I figured out how to work a full week. 306 calls, 192 demos, 73 sit downs, 17 solid, 3 week, 380 units, 9 logons. Nothing too crazy.
Still ramping up. What summer is this? This is 5 in what state?
Summer. I wonder if I have. This is the first week I hit more, or maybe the second week I hit, or first or second week I hit PC.
Ooh, here we go. Now we're cooking.
Through
with some
Wednesday
oil.
were burger days with 197 units on Tuesday.
Damn. Now,
this
okay.
I actually beat last summer.
Oh. Ooh.
So yeah, already hit growth, VIP, and Sizzler on that week. So some
I
vacation.
can't even spell VIP, but where were you this summer? What state were you selling in?
This is New York, the best state ever. I sold over.
It is the over who? Danny? One more time.
He was like a couple of your last summers, I think.
Wait, sorry, the name cut out when you were saying it because we talked. Say that again.
He's from Minnesota. I think he sold like 4 or 5 summers, maybe. He was under AJ. He was AJ Skalski's like first person recruiter.
Danny. Okay. I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
Dana Kitchen.
Dana Kitchen.
Yeah.
I know who that is. Why do I know who that is? I know Dana.
He's pretty cool. I went to like a Gopher game with him.
What part of New York?
Southwestern New York. Like,
bro, did you sell over me?
That's a little bit.
What towns? You remember the towns?
Yeah, I sold in. Oh, now you're really.
I got it. I got
I know this. I'm gonna show a little map for you.
I got the map. I'm gonna share a screen.
Okay.
New York State. Here we go.
You go to Buffalo and down to like the border of Pennsylvania. That's where I was selling that week.
Bro, we sold over each other. You sold over.
I was in Springville. That's where I lived. I was in Springville, New York, I think.
You sold over me, my man.
Yeah.
Okay, I think so. Or you got to been close. Maybe not right over me, but you sold in the same area. So we got Buffalo. I sold. I sold in Wellsville. I live in Hornell.
Cool.
Let me see. Okay, so I sold in right here. We're on screen for people are like, what the fuck are these?
Oh yeah, you were down there in Hornell. I was in
Hornell, Canisteo.
This area on the top here. Gowanda, right, and you're over here a little bit to the east of me.
Oh, so you were here. All right, so we had people we had people here too. So my roommates, we lived there in Hornell. We were supposed to live Hornell, and then our HQ ended up being in Canisteo.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sold all of this. This was my chunk, my first summer. I got 4,000 units in this.
I was really scared of going to New York because I was like, I was in Mississippi and Louisiana. Like I want to go back to the South. I don't want to deal with New York uppity, like northern types, you know. And then I came out to this place and it's all like country New York. So it's like Amish
It's
people walking
so
down
pretty, dude.
it's
Oh,
awesome.
that was the best territory, dude. It was because the small towns were big enough to be like bigger small towns. So the PR was just the right. I mean, it was like everybody knew everybody, but not everybody knew everybody's business.
And like low income in New York is kind of expensive, so it's like medium income everywhere else in the country.
Yeah,
like low income in Mississippi and Louisiana is just like they don't have any money, you know, because a hurricane came in and took everything.
Yeah,
but in New
or
York,
tornado, or the government, or whatever. Yeah, that's so, dude. That's the best turf. And you hit Mort there?
No, I hit 910. That was my best. I have it right here. I got it pulled up. Do I hear my stats that week?
Let's hear the stats that week. Let me know. Let me just let you know. You are your units, so I'm judging you strongly. You're much. You need to get this hoodie. You're so much.
Is there units? Units. Yeah, let's do that.
That merch is popping.
Let's
hear these stats.
These are not stats to follow. So if you're like new in the game, don't follow these stats. They're not good stats. But I worked 81 hours.
Check.
208 calls, 126 demos, 50 sit downs, 25 customers, 910, 15 months.
Okay, can I make a statement here?
I had amazing PR.
Here's my argument. I think you and Mark Rao might agree with this because I've heard him say something like this.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a first year, disregard.
Yeah.
Just go hit your 30 units and just shut up. Just go
hit your demos.
Go peek to someone else. Go hit your demos first because you are still a first year. And I'm not trying to downgrade who you are. I'm just saying you haven't figured anything out if you haven't figured out how to hit 30 units a day. But if you're a B or above, you hit 14 hours a day, 100 units, or 30 demos.
2 out of the 3.
2 out of the 3, you can go home. Right? In your case, 81 hours, you average the hours. So it's good. And you definitely average the units. So if you only had 126 demos, nobody's going to be mad at you for making 910, for selling 910 units.
No, I mean, it's like any job. I mean, if you do well in any job, but you're not like on time, no one cares.
Let me ask you about how to drop, or maybe I might put you on the spot here, but give us some advanced sales. Like what because to jump from 1,000 units in a summer and then to a point where you're, dropping 910 units, you almost did your first summer in 1 week, bro. What did you figure out? What was the thing to maybe give you a prompt or like some ideas so that way you're not like completely on the spot here, but a lot of people have talked about, knowing yourself is a big deal. Your self-talk was a big deal. This is how I got my confidence, because a lot of it has to do with confidence and perspective. But can you walk us through how you went from 1,000 units in one summer to 910 in a week of 12?
Well, I mean, obviously self-talk's important, but if someone's preaching, the one thing I have against I don't think I talked to myself once that week. Probably because I was selling everything and I didn't need to self-talk, like I was just like, I'm fucking killing it. Everyone's buying everything. Next house, drop the bag, it's just like, you don't really need self-talk at that point. But I guess like advanced sales I would have for people that are like new in the business would be honestly, like everything's the law of averages, if I had to say it. Like I'm pretty sure the week before that I might have hit PC, but I probably had a ton more demos and a ton more sit downs that didn't buy anything. And this just happened to be the week where I had like a 50% closing percentage and everyone bought huge packages, And I've had weeks where I have like 40 customers, but I don't have 910 units, so you just never know what's going to happen. But professionalism is the culmination of small things compounded over time. So if you just do the small things over time, you become better. So if you floss your teeth more, you're just become a cleaner and healthier person, even though flossing is not going to make much of a difference, you know? So that's my advice.
Well, this has been episode 198, everyone. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys in the next. That's great, bro. That's so good. Very few people have come on here and talked about professionalism. I've heard it defined in a different way, but it's kind of the same thing you're saying. It's being a professional is doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you're like a professional, like a heavy hitter, like a designated hitter kind of professional, you just do the small things better. Like Warren Buffett doesn't be famous because he invested in Bitcoin when it was like 0.05 cents, and now he's like a billionaire. He just did like all the little things better than everyone else, and now he's like the person.
Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Nice, Warren Buffett. Now people know who he is, and he lives in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Saying something. Yeah. I got one time the way that someone explained it to me was, look, if you're a professional basketball player, nobody cares if you got divorced, if your kids are thrown up, if you're whatever, go shoot your free throws and shut the fuck up. Right? Like that's like the mentality. Like you're a professional. Like you're getting paid to do this, so just do the crap out of it and get over your personal life. It's professional and personal, like different kinds of life, right? So don't bring your personal life into your profession. Don't bring your profession into your personal life. Also is important, right? But a pro is a person who, like you said, does all the little things right, but also it's like, oh, you're feeling tired, get over it. Right? Oh, you're feeling like this is your job. Just do it, you know, and get over it. That's how I see it. That's what I'm hearing anyway.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. You're a beast, man. I'm proud to be getting to know you here. I'm honored. Okay, so you went from 9-10. What you still climbed after that? You still had better weeks, right? I mean,
that was
not
week
just
11,
that summer, but
and I think I sold like 13 or 14 weeks after that. I didn't take any notes after that though.
But just in general, like you hit more. You said at some point.
No, I think I either hit. No, that was the highest I went. Right after that, I hit like 830, and then I hit PC or something after that. I never hit more.
Wow, but that's still pretty great. I mean, to anybody would kill for, you know, averaging, 840 out of 3 weeks. You know, like
yeah. That's my first time hitting. Like I want to win and all that, so that was fun.
Wow, dude, that's cool. And that was your 5th summer. That was your 5th summer.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Damn, dude. Now, I guess you're done now. What are your plans going forward? Like maybe moving, but we can always go back to Southwestern stuff, but let's just talk a little bit about what's Barron up to in 2023.
Well, right now I'm working with Pat Rowe to Southwestern Real Estate. I'm working with like Megan O'Connor here in Colorado. It's just me and her right now. So
okay.
Doing that. And then Dylan is like a agency owner for Family Heritage. And so I'm going to be working with him also and doing both of those. Family Heritage to make money and build a business, and then insurance because and real estate because it's fun. And I just I love reading about real estate and everything that has to do with real estate. I think it's awesome.
And as you build that network long term, I feel like from everybody that I've had on here, and okay, full disclosure, of course, we're sponsored by Southwestern Real Estate, but like generally speaking, everyone that I've had on the show unprompted has been like, dude, the money's crazy when it comes to real estate as well. So I feel that's not a bad second option.
Yeah, right. And the fact of the matter
is, you're bartending, like it's not that, you know.
I know like 5 people in Colorado Springs right now, so and maybe 10 people in all of Colorado State. So not a lot of like house prospects on the horizon right now, but one a paycheck, and the network's only grow from here. So not too concerned.
I mean, from what I've never done it. I don't have the real estate license, but everyone that I've had on here that's done real estate, it's been like the name of the game is networking, right? Mm-hmm. So and it's like you said, insurance, money, ton of money in insurance. Family Heritage, I've heard great things about, especially under Dylan. So that's great that you're working there as well. So
Yeah,
that's
those are
dude,
pretty easy.
hell yeah.
Probably just
Yeah, I mean,
like, all right.
as a former sister company, I imagine that's also the case for for especially for someone who did well. I mean, you did great. So in books,
Yeah.
and so
one thing I'm really grateful for is I have some friends right now that are my age that are like trying to find jobs. They like graduate college, have masters sometimes, and they're trying to find jobs and trying to find where they want to go. And once you sell books for a while, you just kind of talk to alumni and you're like, I need a job, and they're like, well, I have this one for you, I have this one for you. Like, what do you want to do? And you kind of have your pick of the litter, which is pretty cool.
That's exactly right. Now, you're just preaching to the choir here, because
yeah,
I've talked to one or two alumni over the last couple of years, and this is true. They're always looking for sharp book kids. Yeah. One or two. I think the correct thing is one or two from 200. But yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because on and off the air, people will mention about like, hey, if you ever know of a book kid that's moving on and they want to know, and when they go into whatever, or if they're in this area, which is why we're trying to build this network on our own. So our purpose now has become the Alumni Association of Southwestern. And just be able to be that person to be like, hey, not just me, but just as a company, be able to say, hey, we have, somebody reaches out to us, hey, do you know anybody that's, we can in this area or in this industry. So that's the idea that we're trying to get to. Thanks, Amy, for reminding me. Yeah, have you heard about the neighborhood? Can I tell you about this? Oh, dude,
that's clever though. I like that a lot.
Okay, so first of all, everything here at the podcast is horse themed. So like our sponsors and partners are called jockeys, right? Our newsletter is called The Colt.
Like it. Yeah.
And the neighborhood is the newest thing, neighborhood. So we're creating, this is going to be a long-term project, so nobody get too excited, but we're doing this. And if you want, please fill out the link below on the show notes and description notes below. But we're building the it's like ancestry.com family tree, but for book people.
That would be so fun to watch. I would just like scroll through that just for fun, honestly. We'd be like, see who I'm quadruple cousins with in the book family somehow,
Yeah. So if you're listening right now and you're like, what? Go again, click the link below. Just so you guys know, we're going to ask you for information that is not going to be shared with anybody else. We're going to keep it internal. It's not like we're going to sell your information. So don't worry about getting spam emails from a bunch of different people. It's just so we can contact you if we need to update information or if things are changing, so you can keep up with that. If you even give us permission to, you can totally opt out. We don't. Then the default is you're not going to get contacted unless you opt in to get contacted. So we're not even doing this to just try to have like a big emailing list, right? Or anything like that. I mean, it's nice to do that, but only for people who want to be contacted. But the way it works is you fill out the link as a form. It's like a Google form. I might get a little choppy here visually, but can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. And so basically you fill out a form, name, right, where you're from, how many summers you sold, all that stuff. And then we'll ask you one question, which is who recruited you? And then that way we can keep track of like where everyone's at on the tree. A bunch of other questions about if you want to like sign up for blah, 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 if you want to hear about stuff, you want to be on the show, but that's all optional stuff. And then every Sunday, we're going to release phase 1 is just collecting all this information. Phase 2 is building out the tree. Phase 3 is publishing it. So when we publish it, there's our Facebook group. It's called The Neighborhood already. And you can go join that group, answer a couple questions there to make sure you actually sold books so we don't get some rando. And then every Sunday we'll release the updated, most recent version of the tree. And at first it's probably just going to be by orgs because we don't have that many, there's 100,000 people. We don't have all of them yet, but as it starts getting built, we'll start kind of like, it's like a puzzle. We'll start putting pieces together of like, oh, here's a big person who was like DSM that got, they recruited 100 people. So all these people kind of going under this generation and like just start building it out that way. There's other perks too with the neighborhood too. You're going to be able to like vote on things about the show. So we might ask for like certain things, and you can being part of the neighborhood, you get to vote on what's happening. Maybe it could be like the design of the colors of the show, all the way to we're throwing like alumni awards that we're doing. And you can vote for those. It's a whole community that we're building, but the whole purpose of this is to kind of bring us together. All these ponies are out there. We're just building a fence around them to try to like group them together is essentially what we're doing. And so knock knock bitch, fill that out.
Roll the merch.
Roll merch. See you guys in the next one, and see you episode 199 coming up. But yeah, so just so you know, sign up for that, and then that includes like if you come up and you stop selling books, or maybe you've been done selling books for a while, you may be looking for a transition of career change. You can go find people in the neighborhood who are opting in to get contacted about recruiting you or about working with them, or vice versa. Maybe it's like you're like, oh, I'm looking for this kind of person that sold this many summers that's interested in being in this industry. Let me know who you know, and just kind of start connecting people that way. So that's what we're doing, is just building that community and making it better.
That's nice, because I mean, like the people that recruit for 6 to 10 years, like the first summer recruits that they had aren't even going to know the 10th summer recruits that they had.
Yeah,
but you'd be like, I was also under Elise Miller back in like 2012, and just be like, we're basically like brother and sister. Do you want to work together? And just get that set up.
Or just to have that too. And then long term, sorry, I'm like just going on about this vision, but this is actually probably the first time, Amy, that we've done this on the air.
I like it.
But one of the things that we also want to do, this is like big vision, and anybody who buys into this, please fill this link out, is the idea is that we're going to have alumni ambassadors. So we'll pick like major cities in the United States: Denver, Chicago, Atlanta, Omaha, Kansas City, Portland, Seattle, and we'll start building like communities within those like ambassadors, for the purpose of just not just community, but for example, last year about a year ago, we had the whole Ukraine situation going on, right? And we were trying to help people. We have alumni who are from Ukraine. We have alumni who are in the area of Ukraine, right, around neighboring countries. And they were trying to raise money to help these refugees that were moving from Ukraine to their countries, Poland, right? And so what would be cool is we could be like, all right, we're going to have a competition. The ambassadorship from Chicago is going to be on a bracket against the ambassadorship from Atlanta. And that's right. And then whoever can raise the most money gets a recognition. Good job, guys. You did it. But all the money that we raise doing this is going to go to help Ukraine, or it's going to go help this family in need, or this other alumni who is in need, or this community in maybe hurricane hit or something like stuff like that, where we can just harness the power of the alumni community, which can be super powerful when you know that they're such badass people who are doing such successful and amazing things. If we can just all kind of hone them into one specific goal and say, hey guys, we're going to help. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be, we're going to pick up trash, and whoever picks up the most pounds of trash, or whoever knocks the most doors and collects the most food for the, United Way, or I don't know, whatever. We can just harness it this way, where we can track and stay connected and compete in a way that's helping our communities and the world, and eventually maybe change it. So that's the goal of the neighborhood.
That's awesome. Competition helps everything. I mean, if you compete against other cities,
for like a good cause.
Yeah.
That's so cool, right? I mean, I just think that and we're book people, so Bizzler's, or I keep saying Sizzler service projects, we've known to be, very. We're always encouraged every summer to donate at least 1 or 2 sets to a family in need. Like, it's in our heart to always just get paid and pay it forward. So why not like do it while we're alumni who all have this shared experience, that we can come together and say, hey, you know what, we're part of this community. There are really, really cool people. I mean, biasly, really cool people, right? But I think pretty cool people, and just be like, hey, let's do this together. I think it'd be kind of cool. I don't know. Maybe I'm just silly for thinking this, but I think that someday when I look back,
you got the network going.
We're trying to, and it's team effort, right? There's a shout out to our team here at the show who's been working really hard to try to make this happen. And Avery Housley has been busting her butt doing this. Amy, our producer, Amy Lester, Jacob Levine's helping us out a lot with a bunch of different ideas. Naomi Kaufman's, really, really helpful. So anyway, just wanted to say thank you for letting me share that, by the way. This is the first episode we've gotten to really like share what this is. So thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I
that.
think awesome.
Dude, hell yeah. Let me jump you into some rapid fire questions. This is usually the segment we go into, and then some ponytails. Now, the rapid fire questions are designed to kind of jog your memory a little bit about things that happen, and then you can go in and tell us some ponytails. Is that cool?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Rapid fire questions. Oh, I haven't pulled up a document in a second. All right. Here we go. So you can answer this. It doesn't have to be, but by rapid fire, I don't mean like you have to answer them quickly, but it's just some stuff to kind of get you in the thinking, brainstorming juice of a ponytail. So, number one, what was your favorite territory? Not turf, not type of turf, but like state that you sold in, or city.
Either New York or Louisiana, top to bottom.
Amen, sir. Now, by the way, Force sold in New York and Louisiana while I was selling books, which of course is the best territory. Now, what is your favorite kind of turf?
Populated country. Doesn't exist.
Everybody loves populated country.
I just love all country. Like BFE country is honestly like my go-to. I love
BFE country is the best. Now, sometimes every once in a while we get people who say, big brick, but I still feel like big middle income country. Oof. Middle high income country.
If we can get BFE country with like a very low free and reduced lunch, so it's like big brick far country. Ooh. There's only like 1% of the United States that is that though. So
don't get me excited. I'm gonna go sell now because you said that. Like just ooh. sounds better than a donut. Favorite advanced sales.
Advanced sales. I mean, I listened to Kevin Stitt, or not Kevin Stitt. What's the
Kevin Johnson
address? Kevin something.
Kevin Johnson?
No, maybe it is
Kevin Stitt was the governor.
Metscher, West Virginia. What's that one?
Metscher, West Virginia was Roger Smith. No, it wasn't Roger Smith. Roger Sipe.
Yeah.
Whose episode is really good, by the way. We got to get it.
Did you do that episode? What episode is he?
Yeah. 115 maybe.
Somewhere around there. Okay.
It was back in June or July. Go check that out.
Also, if you listen to this, I listened to that from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. every single day and all day Saturday from my 3rd summer until my 7th summer.
It's like great.
Every time I was in gravy.
Sipe is a beast. Amy, write this down. We should have an episode where we have like some of the top advanced salespeople do like a panel where we have like Atchison, Rosen, McWhorter, Sipe, Smith, Rao. Even we would invite Rao for a special occasion on that one. He's not an alumni, but we can get him in. Yeah. Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I know I am. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the people that make this show possible, the people that bring this show to you. These are people who all sold books, and we're here to give a quick shout out to them in a spotlight about their company and what they're up to. So if you're interested, or if after listening to this, you're kind of wanting to know a little bit more, feel free to click on the links below to connect with these people. These are from an excerpt I have with them from a podcast that I do on the side. It's called Executive Exercises, where we take all our sponsors and they come into a think tank and share some awesome ideas about how to grow their business specifically on different topics. Go check that out. But I pulled some of the comments that they had explaining what they do and who they're looking for on their companies. And so if that sounds like you, like I said, click below. Hope you enjoy. On a note from I'm trying to think, like if I was looking into this, and for people who are listening who might be like, hey, this actually, I want to learn more about this. What's the barrier to entry? Like maybe I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, that sounds cool, but I don't know shit about insurance. Like why would I want to go talk to people?
Yeah, the barriers to entry, I think, are really pretty low. Everybody would probably have a different opinion, but in terms to just be able to get out the door and go sell, you've got to get a license. I have my life and health license because you needed the health license at Family Heritage, or if you want to sell Medicare products or certain types of health products, right, you have to have the health side. But what it takes to get either one or both of those licenses is roughly the same. You take a study course. You may need to study for 15 hours. You may need to study as many as 30 hours. But like with Cardinal, we've got a pretty cool course. From studying to getting your license can be as quick as like 7 to 10 days if you really 15 to 20 if you're moving at a medium pace. And beyond that, if it takes you longer than that, you're just not really all that motivated to start because it's not a difficult process.
Yo, let's get off schedule one last time. Go watch a movie, or maybe you should figure out how to work at EnLight.Energy. Alex Black is crushing it down there, and a former DSM, Julio Hernandez, are both running this company. And man, they are cranking 10 people on their team and growing. It's enough that Alex only has to sell like one thing every other week and make over 6 figures. So if you want to learn more about that and maybe help change the planet, click on the link below. That'll do for now. Like I said, make sure you click below to get some more information. And now back to the show. Okay. Favorite HQ?
My Love Bugs HQ in Ohio.
Probably. What do you mean Love Bug HQ?
That's just our name of our HQ. It was me,
my
best friends Jay, and then Elias, who was my roommate here in Colorado Springs until he moved to Minnesota. And then we actually had the exact same HQ, just sub in and out of first year, my summer in New York. So it was like the same HQ, Ohio to New York, just different first years.
Good times. I thought you meant like you had an HQ with Rachel, and I was like, first of all, you call her a love bug. Okay. Second of all right. Favorite product to sell or tech on?
I freaking crushed the Biblical World Atlases that we've been selling the last couple of years. I don't know if you ever saw those, Andreas, but they're from National Geographic, and they're like the cookbook, but 1,000 times better.
I don't think I've ever heard of this. Amazing.
Yeah. We should send you one. Like
I was going to say, send me a set of that.
They're actually super cool. Like I enjoy them myself. So it's easy to just be like, yeah, it's $40, and then just give it to them.
If someone wants to donate that to the Ponytails podcast, just so we can like get to know what the heck this is, let us know.
It makes science and history in with Bible stories.
Ooh, that's cool. I got a couple of nieces and nephews that could definitely go for that.
There's been a thing the last couple years. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, is this it? Amy just put this up.
Yep. It's super
Whoa. Nice. That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, look at that. Look at that. Amazing. This is different than the Family Bible libraries.
Yeah, it's like it has the same spine as you can see there.
Yeah.
So it actually works with them, sort of. You have like the FBLs, and then you can just tack this on. So I just sold them all together. I'd be like, yeah, it's $300 for the set or whatever.
But, dude, this is crazy cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that they sold this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think I know the answer to this, but favorite overall summer?
Probably either my 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Yeah. New York is hard to beat, dude. New York is so hard to beat.
Yeah.
Best sales day. Now this could be in units and or just like you're like maybe you just had a really cool day or something really cool happened to you that you're like, didn't the most units I ever sold, but that was like a, you know what I'm saying? Like best day ever. Your literal best day ever.
I actually don't even know what my best day is ever. I think it's like around 250, 300 units, somewhere around there. I have a best 2 days, like combined 2 days. Can I tell that story really quick?
Yes, please do. Okay. My God, if there's a place to tell this story, this is it.
This is a Seth Hood story, so you really like this.
Let's go. Or wait, let me go.
But we in JYD we do this thing called Tournament of Champions. Did you ever do that, Andres? I know we
I did
adopted after Greer left. But
you did. But no, I didn't do that.
So now like Force does it too. But it's Tournament of Champions, which is just a March Madness bracket, and you get 2 days, and then like top units of those 2 days forwards in the March Madness bracket, and it usually lasts like 2 weeks or so.
Whoa!
And so my 2 days, I made it like I was probably in the Sweet 16 or something, maybe 32, 16 and 32, somewhere around there. And I was against Seth Hood, and I had my best day ever at that time, which was like 260, 250. And then I had like another pretty solid stake day, which was like 220 or something like that. And I was like, oh, got this in the bag. Like, let's go. And I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna listen to it. I listened to the thing, the Voxer the next day, and Seth hit PC in 2 days, and he beat me.
Fucking asshole.
I know. So that was a fun. I talk about that all the time. Like that was the most confident I've ever been in the tournament champions, and he just crushed me.
What a garbage human being.
Yeah.
How dare he? If you can't tell, we love Seth so much.
Yeah.
And if he was here, he'd be like, whatever. Oh, Seth Hood, like I know you could. What a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude. Okay. And then the last rapid fire question. That, by the way, great story. I didn't know anything about this tournament of champions, but I would have get my ass whooped.
It's super fun. It's honestly like there's some things that motivate people a ton. Like some people only work during the summer to hit Sizzler and they don't care about anything else. And some people only work to have like aggressive days on Saturdays. And they're just like, I'm just going to crush it on Saturday. I don't care about the rest of the week. There's a lot of people in my org that only cared about tournament champions.
That's all.
I'm just going to crush it with tournament champions and see what happens.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then the last rapid fire question is favorite breakfast spot.
Louisiana. I lived with a book kid's mom. Or a book kid's mom's like neighborhood friend. Can't remember his name for some reason, but he's from Louisiana. So really cool guy. But we like just drove. I'm gonna use the screen. But we drove down the street, took a left, went down, and it was a biscuit place. And we were there. It was me, my HQ. So it was me, my little brother, and another first year in that HQ, and then a girls' HQ like 3 houses down.
Oh, that's
so we'd
fun.
meet up for breakfast every day, and we had like 10 people at the HQ every day. It was awesome.
That's fun. It's fun to have like I never experienced like seeing the other like a ladies HQ or like a women's HQ until Sunday meetings, but it was always interesting to like there's something about the competition between like a power girl HQ and a power boy HQ, and you're like, we're gonna kick their ass. Like the girls most always won, but like still it was like so fun to try to like challenge them and it was different than like a male competition, in my opinion. But maybe might get canceled for saying this. Might get canceled. Watch that. Ponytails podcast host is a fucking asshole, and then people are throwing rocks through my window in Portland. That's interesting. Yeah, but there is something to be like. We had my first summer. We had an HQ of another power HQ with like these girls were all kicking ass. And it was so fun to be like, this week, if we win, we're going to send you this. And if we win, we just had like competitions between HQs where like, if we won, then we'd have to send them like a steak dinner or something like that. Whatever. We never lost. So
that was probably the nicest HQ I've been into. We stayed in the above garage apartment, and they had like an in-ground pool, a full tennis court. They had like guest house that we didn't even use. It held like racing bikes for the dad, who was a surgeon in the area, and like did street racing, or not bike street racing, I guess you'd say.
Jeez, were you okay?
It was like,
how could you have ever made it through that?
It was solid.
Oh no, I feel so bad for you. Jesus.
The person that owned the biscuit restaurant like knew the people we were living with, and one of the mornings it was actually really fun. We were kind of running late already, but he was like, I have like 50 orders that came in to go. Can you guys help us? And so we all like washed our hands and went in the kitchen, like helped them put together these like to go orders.
That's sick.
It was really fun. Yeah.
See, the power book people. Look at that.
You get 7 hardworking kids for like 20 minutes. You're done.
Heck yeah, bro. That's awesome. Oh man. Well, my sir, it's time for the ponytails, my friend. So this, for people who are listening for the first time, is where we have our guests share their favorite stories from their time selling books. Sometimes it's one big old story. Sometimes it's several, shorter ones. We don't mind. We don't care. It's whatever they want to choose to share with our audience. So my friend, and I can call you friend now. I feel like like we've, we might not have the same summers, but we had chemistry. We might not have math class or physics like you were having in college, but we had chemistry, bro. And so in that scenario, my friend Barron, Marschall, these are your ponytails.
Well, I mean, everyone tells like huge stories, and I honestly can't think of any big stories right now. So I'm just gonna tell a bunch of little ones. So get ready because they're gonna be fun. But I had one of my first years, Isaac, following me one day, and that's the only reason I remember this because we just laughed about it from probably around 2 p.m. until like 7 p.m. and it just kept coming up, and we just kept laughing, and it just hasn't left my mind ever since. But it was just a normal day, and we were driving down the street, and it was like semi-cloudy outside, big oak trees lining the street, typical suburb neighborhood. And we were just driving, and I look over to my passenger side to like see what he's doing over there, journaling in my follow notebook. And out of the passenger side window, I see this probably about like 56-year-old lady, gray hair, but still like pretty physically fit. You know what I'm talking about? Like pretty cool looking grandma,
Yeah,
and,
I know what you mean. You're like,
yeah.
what?
And she's walking her basket hound, but it's not walking. So she's really just like pulling she has the leash over her shoulder, and she's pulling the basset hound by the neck down the sidewalk. And and I stopped the car in the middle of the street. We just stopped and watched her. Watched her just pull this dog down the street. And so that's my first story. And if you can imagine that, it's just like basset hounds are already just flab and hair. Like they don't have bones to begin with. And if they're being pulled, it's just hilarious. So
bro,
that's always
you gotta love it. You gotta love it when like you're just sitting in the book field and you're just waiting for something funny to happen, and it rewards you with exactly what you needed. Like you're just like, I needed this. Thank you, God.
Yeah.
God's funny, dude. He's got a good sense of humor.
Like, every now and then you get a story where you're just like, this is the funniest thing ever. But I've had a lot of stories where it's just like those little things of like a 2-second clip where there's a grandma pulling this dog by the chain, So that's my first story. My second story is a pony story. It was my second summer. I was walking, and I was in the country. Or no, my third summer. I was in the country and my car broke down. My like timing thing snapped.
Yeah, timing belts. Classic booktail story. Classic booktail horror. Yeah.
That snaps, and all of a sudden you're walking in the country, and that's the worst thing in the world because my third summer I was in Louisiana. And if anyone's spent Louisiana in the summertime, it's like 110 degrees, 98% humidity. It's like close to raining, but not raining the entire summer. And
you could almost drink water like this, like.
Yeah, you're just like, you don't even need to get water
bottles.
Almost
breathe.
It like soaks into your skin like a frog,
Easy.
And yeah, exactly.
Just take your water bottle, open it, drag it around the air.
Yeah, drink. Just collect all the air, cool it down,
almost
drink it up.
Very
and so
close.
I was walking in that for most of the day. Oh, and what made it worse is it wasn't even my car that busted down. It was like my host mom's car that I was borrowing because my car had already broken down. So my car broke down. Then I borrowed her car and I got stuck out of it. And so I was walking again in the country, and I walked probably like 6 hours in the country, got like one sit down. Not a lot was happening. And then I was going back to my car, like where her car was, to see if it would open up for me finally and maybe let me in. And I stopped by this homeschooler's house and sat down with the mom, and like super cool sit down. It was probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and like she wasn't expecting me. So it was one of those moms that just opens the door when it's pitch black out and invites a stranger in. So it's gonna be good, Yeah, that's a bigger mom. And so did a sit down with her, and then like did the spouse objection, nothing. Did the whole price build up, closed. Halfway through the close, the dad comes in, and I was like,
oh no, dude.
And then
there's a story that every book person like really can resonate with. It's when the cops show up and when the dads show up in the middle of not even like in the middle of the demo, because you can still save that
Middle
in the
of the
middle of the close, dude.
Yeah. He just walks in out of the kitchen. And I'm like, oh, your husband was here the whole time? And she's like, yeah, it's okay. And I'm like, do you want me to show them to him? She's like, no, it's fine. And he starts asking some questions. And so she like mom demos them, where she's like, it's educational books. And she's like, yeah, it's only like 800, or I think it was like $1,200 because they got the whole set plus the FBI. They got basically everything except for the cookbook. And he's like, okay. And he just left, and that was it. And I was like, let's go. I'm pretty sure that's my only sale that day too, because I was walking in the.
That's when you go to yourself. You go, someday I'm gonna be that husband. Whatever's going on in this marriage is great. Like I'm gonna be that husband someday. Yes, sir.
And he was like, all right, whatever makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that was another one.
Fuck it.
Yep. Go for it. And it wasn't it wasn't like big brick Louisiana. It was probably like middle. It was probably middle to low income.
There's no big brick in Louisiana unless you're like the coach of the Tigers.
On the plantation 100 years ago or something,
Yeah.
It's like,
or like you're like a head coach of the LSU, but other than that, there's no big brick.
Dude, Louisiana was kind of crazy. Like the town I was in when that happened was, I mean, it wasn't segregated anymore, but there was like the white side of town and the black side of town, and there was like the white part and the black part.
Oh yeah, it's segregated.
It blew my mind. I was like, what's happening? And parents were like,
is this 1868? The company's been around as long as this hasn't changed.
Yeah. And the moms were just like, yeah, we don't go to that side of town. And I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah. They have such good music over there. Like you don't even know. This is you talking to the black families about country music. It's like they have really good music over there,
Yeah. And so that was my Louisiana one. And I'm sure I have like a bunch in New York. That week when I had hit almost more, it was just weird. I was just pony after pony after pony.
Dude, those big weeks like that are so fun because you don't even know. I mean, it makes sense because you're like, it makes sense because I've learned and worked this hard that this is happening to me, but it's still so surreal. I never hit 910, but I hit like 730. And there was the same thing where it's just like, you would just close on everything and they'd go, or not everything, everything available to them, I should say. Because if you drop bags every customer, you have 3,000 units. But like when you have a family, have like high schoolers and you're like, yeah, it's $600. And they're like, okay. Like just where everything rolls, all the names hit, everything. It's just like, it's a weird flow.
Yeah.
So I get it. You're like, what?
The thing that's kind of changed since like you sold books, Andres, is like now people like your Facebook pages. Did you even have Facebook pages when you sold?
My
I don't know, we didn't even use them at all.
My sixth summer, actually, okay, I'm not gonna say this. I don't know. You tell me if you want me to expand on this, but I did this thing on my Facebook page that I'm surprised that this didn't happen. And when I told it to Shane Blake, Shane was like, "That's really smart." And then it never took off. But for me, it worked really well, which was I was still able to be off schedule, but still hit big packages. But that's a whole different. That could be a story for Bizzler. But yeah, we had, to answer your question, we had Facebook pages. It was just the beginning of it. It wasn't like what it is now, but it was 2016 was my last summer, year first, where I was like, oh, this could be helpful. But
yeah, my first summer, I don't remember any training on it. I had one. I think I posted like 4 pictures on it, never used it. But that summer in New York, I had people reaching out to me on Facebook, and they're like, can you stop by my house? Can you stop by my house? And that was that week. I was just like, I go from one house and I get a referral, go to that house. And
yeah, I never had that.
It was weird. It's honestly, it's just like strange. It was like my whole day is just going to people that are expecting me. Don't even have to.
That's weird.
It's weird. But
the thing I did is oh, go ahead. I
was gonna say, I think the week after that, one of the biggest ponies I had that summer was a referral, sort of, where I talked to this mom. She didn't buy anything, and she was like, "You know who you should go see? My like sister-in-law, Jolie." She wasn't even in my church. She's just like, "Yeah, she lives down that road. Like, you'll see it. It's the only house with green grass." And I was like, "All right, whatever you say." But she was like, "But don't tell her I stopped by, and she's probably not going to buy anything, and she might be really mean to you, but she has a couple kids, so she might be interested. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, fuck it, I'm delivering already. Like, let's go see what's up. And so I went to her house, and it was the only house with green grass. Like, every other house was like brown and dirt. This one was nice green grass. Stopped in, did like half a sit down. Like, it was like, yeah, your sister-in-law told me not to tell you that she sent me. But she did. And she thought you might like these books. And they're like, fucking Betty, I hate her. Come on, sit down in the living room. I'm like, all right, whatever. Did like a half a sit down. I was like, they're like, how much is it? How much is it? How much is it? I'm like, for everything, it's like $2,000. And they're like, you take cash? I was like, yep, I take cash. And they bought like the full kid set, the full black set, FBOs, cookbook, and I think they got a second set of kids' books as like a gift for other people too. So I think that might have been my biggest package.
Pretty not
like,
bad.
Yeah, pretty not bad. And it was literally just
nice
like
package you got.
It was like a 10-minute sit down where I was just like, all right, this is how much it is.
Bro.
Best 10 minutes of my life. Never again.
You made what? You made $1,000 probably.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
That's crazy.
But yeah, those are some quick pony stories, I guess.
Dude, I love these rapid fire pony stories.
I've got 7 years more, so I'm ready. They're all
been a while since
they like come back to you as you start telling them. You're like, oh yeah, and then there's this day, and then there's this day. I will say though,
it happen all the time here.
Yeah, I bet. I will say one of my favorite stories is that 5th summer when someone was following me. I don't think I had a crazy day or anything, but follow days are like the best. If you're a first year, the best thing you have to look forward to are follow days. They're like so much fun, and you just mess around with your friends. And I had this girl in my car, and we were driving through New York, and there's windmills everywhere. And I told her, I was like, I used to think that when windmills stop moving, that they were sad. And now I realize that they're just tired and they just want a break. And she would not, like, that was her biggest takeaway from the entire day. And I was just self-talking about random stuff like windmills. And she was like, that's it. That's what I'm taking away from today.
I'm not tired. I'm just a tired windmill.
I'm just a tired windmill. She's like, all right, I got that.
That person still probably remembers that day.
Oh yeah, I guarantee she probably. That was like my favorite fall day I think I've ever had, or one of them. Close to. The other one that might be my favorite fall day was the very first day that summer when I had my first year following me, and I went to this. He knocked on the first door because it's the very first day, and I had him like knock on the first day. You know that.
Good luck.
Yeah,
it's so fun to watch that. You're shaking. You're like, oh, here we go.
It's like very first door. Did the sales talk. Got to sit down. Didn't know how to handle any objections, but did a good job. And then I did the second door. Got another sit down, and it was with this like farm dad. You know, it's just like the bullshitter dad. That's just like.
They'll talk to you for hours if you let them. Yeah, that's that's actually a dangerous sit down. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember what I said, but I was doing the sit down, and it was on like it was one of those sit downs that's on the tailgate of his truck, you know, where we weren't inside, we were standing up.
Dude, outside. Those are the best. Those are the best sit downs.
It was so fun. And my like first year's, he's probably like 4 inches taller than me, probably like 30 pounds less than me. So it's just like tall, skinny guy. He's just sitting back there listening to me, and I go through my sales talk, and I'm just like, what did I say? I made some joke about maybe having kids somewhere. I don't remember what I said. I was like, yeah, and Mr. Jones, like, it's like what one mom said, like, she spends that much on the diapers that she has for her kids. I mean, I don't have any kids as far as I know. I don't know, maybe. And I just like kept going. And the dad, it took him like 2 seconds, but then afterwards it kicked in. He's like, oh, honey, did you hear that? And then at the end of the sit down, he asked me first year. He's like, should I buy some books from him? And my first year, Isaac's just sitting there like, yeah, I mean, I think you should buy some stuff. Yeah, Yeah, it was a fun
He
time.
probably thought you were under training. He probably thought you
Yeah.
were being like he was your manager. He looked at your first year who didn't know who's on his second sit down ever,
Yeah,
let alone
doesn't
second door ever, and he's like, yeah,
I guess so.
get it
He's
together,
like, I
Steve.
mean, he's making good points. You should probably buy it. And the dad's like, yeah, we'll take it. Why not?
Dude, that's the best, dude. Those tailgate sit downs are underrated. Underrated.
The best. I worked with Jake Osowski most of my year. I worked with Dylan my first year, and then Jake for the other 4 years when I was still under Noel. And every year he'd tell a story about how he got like a customer on a tractor, and he sold them like 6 cookbooks from a door demo. And they're just like, yeah, we'll take one for each of our kids, and they just.
That guy did not share that story on our show. We're gonna have Osal back.
Yeah, there you go.
We love Osal. Osal's quality human.
Yes.
Dude, that's so funny. Amy, make sure we gotta add this to the rapid fire questions. But best follow day is a solid rapid fire question because everybody has a best follow day. Oh yeah, my best follow day was with a former guest we've had on the show, Jordan Ortmeyer, and it was just, dude. It was my second summer. She was following me, and we're just, typical, like, just stymied every day. Like every door is just like kind of rough, and then it just starts pouring rain, and you try not to get your sample books wet and stuff. And I'm like, Jordan, and we're in the middle of the country. It's like a concrete country road where like nobody really goes through. It's not even marked with lanes. It's just like, but it's not dirty. It's like not muddy because it's not gravel, but it's still a country road.
It's that back road that was paved like 15 years ago and it's still brand new.
Yeah. And there's houses. You can still see the houses from where you're at, but like nobody's really watching what you're doing. And I just pull over. I'm like, Jordan, it's pouring. Like you can't see the hood of my car. And I'm like, Jordan, no thunderstorm though. It's just straight rain. And I'm like, hey, we're going to go outside because we're just trying to not get wet. Right. And I'm like, no. We're going to go outside. And I know this is a little bit of schedule, but we're just going to go dance, jump around, like do jumping jacks. We're just gonna go out in the rain and we're gonna get it wet anyway, so might as well just let it all come now then like later. And oh dude, and it was just so fun, dude. It was just we really embraced the difficulty of just having to work with books in the rain in a summer job where you're selling them. And I'll remember that forever. It was just and I've brought it up to her on the show ever since. It'll come. Remember that day? And she's like, "Yeah, that was so fun." Like it's a great day. That was my favorite follow day. It's just so fun. Strong case can be made for the day I followed Danny.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna tell you this story. We can wrap up just because I'm excited about it. But Danny, I took Mandarin all 4 years of college, and it was I might have been our fourth summer. It might have been my third summer, but no, it was definitely fourth summer. And Danny, it's one of those when we don't have appointments at night, and I'm following Danny in his turf. But like the big brother scenario kicked in, and he's like, dude, I don't know. And he didn't want to say this because Danny's like not one to puke or anything, but you could tell he didn't want, and he was outselling me. He was definitely, he was OL. I'm just kind of there as your first summer. And you could tell he didn't want to knock in the dark. And I was like, hey, how about I just do it? So then that way you don't have to take the PR hit if this is like not good. And he's like, okay. And he was like, all right, yeah, if you want to do it. But my big brother instinct kicked in, and I was like, I can tell in the protective of me. I'm like, I'll take the hit, bro. So I knock on the door, and it's this like couple, or it's this mom, and she's Asian. And I'm like, okay, I shouldn't assume that she's Chinese, but I started talking to her in English, and she could not understand. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, where are you from? And she goes, China. And I was like, Joanne, and she's like her eyes open, and she's like, yeah, like, and I just start talking to her in Mandarin, bro. And she's like keeping up with me, and I'm keeping up with her. Like I lived in the international dorm, so I had like practice being fluent enough. Like but what I mean like, fluent is like I could speak it, understand it, totally probably had an accent, but like I could get across. It's not like when Americans go to Mexico and they're like cervezas. I'm talking about like I could actually speak. And she's like following up, and we're like talking. I'm like books, and I was telling her, and I'm trying to like translate the sales talk as I'm going on. She's keeping up with it. It turns out they weren't interested. But it was funny because we get back in the car, and I forgot that Danny didn't know that I took Mandarin. So we get back in the car, and it's past 9:30, so we hit the hours. I'm like, all right, just take me back to my car. I can go back to my HQ. And he's like, he looks at me, he's like, what the fuck was that?
Who are you?
And I'm like, what? He goes, you just dropped some Chinese on this lady? And I was like, oh yeah, I speak Chinese. He goes, since when, dude? And I'm like, oh, I've been taking it like since freshman year of college, bro. Like, I don't know. Because what is going on? He was just so mind blown, and we just started laughing, like just the whole ride home. It's like, and he talks, I think he told the story from his perspective in his episode a while back when he's like telling me, he's like, bro, I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, we're just gonna get shut down. We're gonna have to knock on a different door because it was like 9:22. So I needed to make the sit down last. So you want it to be the last one, otherwise you have to go knock again. And he was like, oh, we're gonna, and then all of a sudden. He's so confused, bro. Oh man, I'll never forget the face that he made when we got back in the car. He's just looking at me like, what did I just see? Like, it was like he saw an alien land on Earth and then got in the car and he's like, what was that, dude? So funny. I know I've told this story before, so sorry if you people listening that you've heard it, but oh man, it was a funny fall day. So those are my two favorites. So sorry, thank you for letting me share in your ponytails.
Yeah.
That's me, man. Bro, I've had a blast. Thank you so much for being on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is amazing. It's a good start to my alumni-hood.
There you go. Alumni-hood, I think, is the alumni-ship, alumni-hood, alumnius, alumnus-nation, alumnation. Bro, anytime, come back if you want. You and Rachel want to do one together, just chat, shoot the shit. That's kind of what we do here on the show. It doesn't have to be super, super professional. Profesh is chill. So come back anytime you guys want. You're welcome anytime. Good luck on your Southwestern real estate career and on your family heritage career. I hope that you, and I don't hope, I know you're gonna kill it. So enjoy. And I'm kind of a little bit jealous you get to work with Pat. He's a partner of ours, so I get to hang out with him every once in a while. But he's a stud. And of course, Dylan. Of course, get Dylan on this show. He's turned me down a couple of times, and we need to get him in here. I feel like you'll have a blast. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Hope you guys enjoy. We're getting down to 201 episodes to go before 200. Our 200th episode is going to be our favorite recollection of ponytails that we've had on the show and our commentary on them. So you guys are going to have a blast with that for sure. Keep an eye out. I can also tell you guys we have booked Dan Moore to be on the show. So he is our season 9 opener. Yeah.
Hot commodity, Dan Moore.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
He's now official.
Yeah, he's now an official alumni, so we will be having Dan Moore on the show. He will be, barring any scheduling, we already have it locked down and the recording did and everything, but barring any like crazy events happening, which, you never know. It's, life is the book field. But if everything goes according to plan, he will be our season 9 opener in April. So look forward to that one as well. If you want to get signed up or get more information on Bizzler, make sure you click the link below. We'll see you there in October. We're going to Montego Bay in Jamaica. And of course, sign up for the neighborhood if you get a chance. We would love to get you on that tree. I've been with Barron Marschall. You guys, thank you so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.